Okay, so I wanted to go into the gameplay enhancements that Sub is planning to add in the next update. This is going to be covering a lot more of the progression systems and more of the boring stuff. The core content to the game that everyone cares about and the trading stuff will be in the next two videos. This is more of like quests, battle passes, the evolution abilities for champions, which granted is important, ranked coming back, boss battles, and training modes. So, if that's what you're interested, that's what this video is going to be about. The rest will be covered in the next two videos. So, the two systems I think Sub is missed entirely with this game is clans need some type of progression system that rewards the players in the clan. Now, whether you give people more emotes, you give people unique swords, it doesn't really matter. Just some there needs to be some reason for people to join clans and really want to be a part of them because all it really offers now is community, but there's no community content that you can do with your clan. There's no raids you do as a clan. There's no way to play competitively with the clan. So hopefully they figure out a way to add some of that, but we'll see. And then raids need some sort of progression system to make it infinitely replayable, or they need to adjust the rewards to make it infinitely replayable. The issue now is once you've gotten all of the items from the boss packs, you're pretty much done. The values the boss items have going into gems is very, very low. So either they need to add a bunch more mythics to bosses and dilute the pool so all the items are much rarer, or they need to do just something that makes it more rewarding. Just giving a higher gem payout won't really help. It'll just inflate the boss currency. So I think they need to really sit down and look at their rewards for raids and get that worked out to where people will enjoy the extra challenge for raids. Because putting all this extra time in and having the rewards stay the same, no one will do bosses. There's no reason to. So if they get that sorted, then we're good. Moving toward quests, they didn't explain at all what quests are going to be. Same with battle passes. We have no idea how they're going to structure either of those two. For quests, there's a lot of different possibilities they could do. They could do small daily quests where it's just log in, kill a couple people, get a couple wins, use a couple abilities. It doesn't really matter. But if it's just small daily quests and the rewards are you get a common or a rare or a godly, no one's really going to care. So I would hope that quests aren't really small as far as the requirements go. Weekly quests could be a little bit better, but still, I think they're missing the mark. I'm hoping that they add big quests such as get 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 kills or something along those lines, and then you can redeem the kills or wins for unique weapons. If they do something like that, those weapons would be insanely rare and everyone would want them. And then people getting S grades of those weapons would be a big deal. Now, the longer the game's out, it would be more difficult. And if you make those tradable, then people would just make alts and sell them off. So we'll have to see exactly how that works out. But I'm hoping the quests are bigger because if they're bigger, then people actually focus on doing them. And that will be things that will be a core gameplay mechanic that people enjoy using. As far as battle passes go, it doesn't really matter how they put it in. They just need the rewards to make sense for the effort put in. And there's not too much to say as far as that goes. I'm hoping that they theme the battle passes and have unique swords in them. But if they don't, then I hope they re-add old items. So let's say they re-add the gem blade or divine shadow or enigma or amethyst as one of the rewards. So we'll see what they do exactly with battle passes, but it just needs to make sense for the investment you put in, money and time. Okay, and then for evolutions, they're going to add evolution abilities to champions. So whenever you get, for example, Sido over level 100, it sounds like you'd be able to swap out abilities for other abilities. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to swap out something like super jump for a fourth block, but if you can swap out movement abilities for block abilities, we're going to have some really, really overpowered champions, which might be a problem. We'll see. One of the main issues with ranked last time, I think for a lot of people, was There's just so many blocks between Saito and Kilo players that the ranked matches take forever, and everyone's always super scared to do anything aggressive in those game modes. So I'm hoping that the evolution abilities aren't you can change out every single ability on your character for a new one, and then they can all be super overpowered block abilities, because that's going to create a massive problem in the game and might take away a lot of the fun. I'm hoping it's more you can swap out one of your abilities on the champion, and the thing you swap it out for isn't that extreme. It's just a slight variation of the original ability. So let's say for ground walls on Saito, it would change the walls to be slightly longer or shorter. So you play around it slightly differently, but it's still roughly the same ability. Or, I don't know, let's say for Gaza, you get the blind ability changes to a 1 second full blind where you can't see at all. If they do stuff like that, I think it's more reasonable, but we'll have to see what direction they really want to take for evolutions, because it sounds like a balancing nightmare, and it depends on how extreme they want to make that system, on if it ends up being a good thing for the game or a bad thing for the game. And I'm not saying necessarily that it being an extreme version is bad. It's just they have to spend a lot of time in testing if you're going to be able to swap out every single ability on the champion. And then how many abilities can you swap out? Because if I can change Saito into 4 or 5 different characters, it's going to be a pain to play around things. So I don't know if people will enjoy it. They've got to test it in the test servers and stuff before they launch that system. Same, if they're bringing ranked back as for season 2, if ranked is brought back right after the whole evolution system comes in, people aren't going to understand the system and how to play around all the new abilities yet. So if they want to add the evolutions as part of the big update, then ranked should come later on, maybe a month or two after evolutions, to give people time to level characters. But we'll have to see. I'm hoping that evolutions and ranked aren't released at the same time, because that will just be a mess. Because you're going to have to level all of your characters past 100, get the new evolution abilities, see what's the strongest, and then go into ranked with that, whatever the meta is, and then learn all of the things you have to play around. So it just sounds like a problem waiting to happen, and I think they'll get a really bad response from ranked if they don't do it properly. So that's the one thing I want to say as far as that goes. And then as far as the boss battles go, they're going to be adding difficulty options and modifiers. So I'm guessing you can change the spirit boss and mech boss to hard mode, which I have no idea what that would change. Hopefully they'd add new mechanics, but we'll see what it does. It isn't just a damage tweak. Maybe the spirit boss gets an extra attack in his last phase or something, when you increase the difficulty. And then the rewards are you get a unique weapon or a chance at a unique weapon for having it on the hardest difficulty. So we'll just have to see what they do with it. But they need to make bosses more replayable for any of these changes for the bosses to matter. In the current state, no one cares. If they added a hard mode and all the cool modifiers in the world, the rewards aren't there yet to where people love bosses. So we'll see. Hopefully they get to that too. It isn't just boss changes, it's reward changes as well. And then they wanted to add a better training mode. The training mode right now for new players is basically you go into a lobby with bots, they give you Lufus, and they tell you to kill the bots, and you don't get to escape the training room until you kill the bots and win. It's not a very good mode. If they're going to add a proper training mode, it should be like Rocket League, which for people who haven't played Rocket League, it's a kind of step-by-step training where they would teach you how to do things. One thing they should do is teach you how to curve the ball. So have the ball come in from, let's say, your left side, and then it'll have you shoot it off to the side so it does a delayed hit. Teaching people how to curve the ball would help massively for the learning curve if it's included within the tutorial. Curving, clashing, using abilities, and hitting the ball off of terrain should all be covered in the training mode. If you teach people those 4 things, I think it's much easier for them to pick up the game and start enjoying it. Because we have way too many people that start the game, use ball cam, and then just die and think it's the game that's just rigged against them. because they don't understand and weren't properly taught how to play the game. So we'll see, but hopefully they add something along those lines where it's an advanced level that teaches them how to be a good player at the game, not just a how to get into the game and click the block button and that they have abilities. So we'll see, but that's the main thing as far as training goes. And then they wanted to do a UI overhaul, which in general the UI in Deathball has been really good. So not too worried about that. Whatever they have to change about it, I'm sure they'll do well. And that's everything for this video. If you're looking for new content, so like the champions, boss battles, like more details on the bosses, new items, the way they're changing items, all that, that's going to be in the trading video and the new content video. Some of it I'm packing into the trading video because it makes more sense. So I'll get to that when the next two videos come out. But that's it for today. So have a good one.